The FMS Yak-130 is the only jet so far that we've managed to land like this.
Check it out, YouTube. I've got the Yak-130 70mm, and we haven't flown this thing or done anything with it since January. So it's been almost 6 months now of us flying this thing, or not flying this thing rather. So let's see what has changed in the past time that we've flown it. We actually did end up changing the flap settings on screen. You'll probably see them before we take off. The flaps no longer come out as much as they used to. I actually reduced them a bit because they were a little weird. I was catching the air too much and making the plane fly kind of wonky. I also adjusted some other things, gave it the high G mixing to make it backflip over itself really aggressively. So it's already, I got it to finally do a triple kulbit for the first time, which I never thought it was even capable of doing. Not really much else has changed besides that. We're still running it on an SMC 3600 pack, which is shoved about as far back as it can physically fit inside of there. There's not a whole lot more space it can go into, so that it fits it all is pretty awesome. The SMC pack gives it plenty of flight time. I think we can get about 5 minutes. So we're gonna do a couple of flights with it, and then we're gonna roll into the B-roll stuff as always, and then we'll show you guys what it can do. All the math details and everything out of the way. Give you guys the flap settings real quick before we fly. I know it's a lot of info dump in the beginning, but we wanna make sure that you get all this info. We're flying with 100% up on the flaps. Takeoff switch is -60% flaps, -4% elevator, so the elevator goes up a little bit, and then -2% on the elevator compensation for landing flaps, and 30% flap, which is pretty far down, but enough to make it slow down. All right, I think we're all ready to go. Enough talking. Let's get her up in the air. Yeah, man, this is one of the better 70mm jets you can get. It's not really a beginner's jet, but it can act like a beginner's jet. Very, very agile, very, very fast. Let's line her up for a high-speed pass. I'm gonna get a little further back. I wanna make sure I don't hit my wife with the plane. I mean, look at, I'm at like half throttle and this thing is covering so much ground. Crazy, isn't it? Very agile. Here's the roll rate at 150%. Nothing ridiculously crazy or anything. Still relatively good, easy to fly. You can do the nice style Top Gun Maverick stuff where you fly all the way through here. Use the elevator, kind of banking in and around the curves. Try to avoid the trees. See how close I get to those trees? As long as you don't pull the elevator too hard, you won't go into a high-speed stall. And that's just half throttle flying most of the way there. All right, let's take it up and let's do what I like to do, which is the kulbit backflips. Put it into high speed. 2. Starts to stall out toward the end. Stalls are amazing, aren't they? They can help or hinder what you do. Let's give it some rudder input, see if we can make it knife edge, nice and slow.
2 minutes.
Oh, that is so unstable, but it's still working. You can actually knife edge it. I'm gonna try to line her up, get a better knife edge out of it. All right, we're bringing it in this way. Okay, line her up. There we go, baby. Coming in with the rudder. Full rudder. It is not liking that, but it does do it. Flipping her around, watching out for the trees. Do the backflip. That is just so easy to do in this jet because of the upward thrust line. That is why it can do that. It almost has thrust vectoring in the pitch axis for going up. If you go to a dead stop, watch this. I'm gonna stall. That is an upward thrust line. Go for triple. Almost a triple. Just stupidly cool. Now it also does some other goofy stuff too. Like if you do sticks to the top left or top right, watch this. Go straight up. Like something about the aerodynamics of this jet is insane. Let's do sticks to the top inward. See how it flattens out at the top? Those fixed stabilizers with an elevator tip have a very strong effect on this jet. It's
Gear down.
wicked cool.
22.58.
And we still got a decent amount of power left, so we're gonna bring in full flaps. I'm gonna step out of the sun here so I can actually see. Keep that nose pointed at the ground, do a couple of touch and goes. This jet is not too hard to land, at least not with the flap settings that I'm using that I told you guys about. There we go. It does like to take off on its own because of the, what do you want to call that? The upward thrust line. So just adding thrust is enough to make it lift off on its own. It's quite remarkable that it was able to fly like this. But better than a downward thrust line like the A10, which tends to just go immediately like toward the ground as you thrust up. Which is one of the reasons why it's so squirrely on the ground. All right, here we go. Level it out. Does nice barrel slash snap rolls. I mean, look at the snaps it can do.
21.4 volts.
That was only the thrust line making that happen. I had to actually recover from it. I was a little too low. Let's go up and make it do another snap. Such a goofy plane, man. That's with rudder and aileron input too. It's just like, if you like jets, man, this is definitely one of the jets to get. Bringing the gear in, bringing the flaps in. We're gonna try to land it short field landing as fast as we can get it in.
5 minutes.
There we go. Wiggle the rudder to get her to slow down. We're gonna immediately come back and just toss another pack in, and then we'll do the last of the B-roll segment so you guys who want to see more of its flight characteristics know what it's capable of doing, because we want to make sure that you guys get all the info that we can provide, knowing that we've tested these planes so that you don't have to, so at least you know what it's going to do when it's time for you to fly it if you like what you see. Ground handling is not half bad at all. Just don't do this at high speed because it will tip over and scrape the wing, so just something to be aware of. We're going to go straight into it. That's what that upward thrust line can do. We're going to be much more aggressive with it this time around.
23.5 G.
Look at that. That is a sweet kulbit, man. A little bit more aggressive. Just fly the crap out of this thing, because why not, right? They sent it to us to show what it can do, so let's show you what it can do. Man, this thing is good. I love planes that act like they have thrust vectoring when they don't, and this one is definitely one of those outliers that acts like it when it doesn't have it, and it slides around real good too. Look at those backflips we can do, and immediately just arrested the descent, get right out of it, no problems at all. Man, if you want a jet that you can aggressively fly, this one is definitely up there. Just you gotta be careful when you're maneuvering it, because you gotta make sure that you don't get into a high speed stall, because it will roll. Like if I go up there and I just pull the elevator as hard as I can right now, it does slide. Actually, that was really cool. There's the roll to the right. That was just pure back elevator pressure. You can use that to your advantage to make the plane flip around too, because if you can guess which way it's going to roll, you can use that to do a reverse in midair, just like I just did. Man, it is just so freaking good, dude. You can just do so many cool things with this, mostly pitch related, but some of the roll stuff is great too. So that quick reverse thrust, or reverse direction in midair just from doing a snap roll at the right angle, that's the kind of stuff that you can get away with this plane. Like I literally just went vertical at the top of the roll. I added aileron input with a little bit of airspeed, and it immediately backflipped over itself and went straight down like an arrow. It's just so freaking good, man.
volts.
Using some of those stalls to make it flip and spin. You can tell when I enjoy a jet, when I'm actually having fun with it, when I actually do stuff like this.
IG.
Dude, man, I am having some serious fun with this. Kind of worried it's gonna hit those trees for a second.
21.62 volts.
All right, we're running low on power, so we're gonna do one more quick backflip.
Alpha. Quick normal.
Got what I wanted. All right, time to drop the gear, bring her in. Again, definitely recommend it. The codes referral TwobrosRC or TwobrosRC will get you 10% off your first order or $10 off your first order, respectively. If you guys want one, it's in the comments. Should be, by the time you guys see this, part of the FMS Father's Day sale. Being a father myself, I would love it if somebody got me an airplane, but I seem to get them all the time just for reviewing stuff, so I guess I can't complain too much. But again, we're gonna do the final review of this bird. I like it. You can tell when I like something when I'm willing to push the envelope with it and not just fly safely with it. I put it into a lot of aggressive high-speed stalls. I could have easily destroyed the plane if I didn't trust that it was going to do what I told it to do every single time and have the control input that it needed to get out of those situations that I would put it into. You can tell that the foam hinges, even though it is foam hinge, they're holding up really well to the abuse that I'm putting this thing through. I mean, I'm not seeing any signs of wear and tear, any damage at all on the plane. The servos don't care. They're pretty good, high quality metal geared servos. Nice paint job. I'm not really the biggest fan of Russia given what's going on right now in the world, but you know, I gotta admit that I do like a good looking airplane, and this thing does remind me more of an egg than an airplane, but it flies like a really good, well-tuned jet. Especially the way it just literally backflips over the wings and pivots over that carbon rod. That is just unbelievably cool. I don't know what I remember giving the score for it last time. It's been a while, but I will say as of right now, this is a solid 9.5 for me. The only thing that could make it better would be if I could get it to be controllable in that post stall, but that's not really the jet's fault. So I'll give it a better reason why I think that, because I can't just review something based on what it wasn't designed to do. I think, honestly, I think you could get the batteries to go a little bit further back if that was possible without having to mod it. That would give it the extra half score. Because right now it is still slightly nose heavy. We are currently balancing right next to that wing screw. So right here where my middle finger is. If I could get this thing to balance right here or here, I think we would open it up into a brand new world of aerobatic possibilities. So looking in here, I wonder if it would even be possible to do that if I could get in there and carve out just an inch or two of foam to push those 3600s back further or use smaller batteries. Because we got about 4 minutes of aggressive flying out of this thing. And it was just balls to the walls fun. I didn't have to worry about anything with it. Super awesome. Hope you guys get one. Remember the codes, referral TwobrosRC for 10% off your first order or TwobrosRC for $10 off your first order. Thanks for watching. Check out the B-roll to see what other crazy shenanigans we put it up through.
One thing we've been wanting to do since we discovered that it can do extreme kulbit backflips is to force the Yak to land in a controlled extreme alpha state. The upward thrust line makes this possible. It took several tries before we felt confident doing it because the gear being dropped significantly interferes with the stability, but we managed to pull it off.
That's all that happened. That is the extent of the damage from landing it in a high alpha, beyond high alpha, ultra high alpha. Although we did kind of break the gear mount right here, but that's an easy glue fix. So we did really good. I didn't think it would be possible to land it like that, but it apparently is. No other damage to the plane that I can see. Absolutely none. That is phenomenal. Pretty cool stuff.
Thanks again for watching. We hope you enjoyed, and we'll see you guys again next upload.